Welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates with Nolan Baker. 419-794-3030 is how you reach out if you have questions about your retirement, want to know more about things that we've talked about today on the show, or just in general about your retirement. 419-794-3030. You can also go to the website, and that is arhq.com. This is a topic where I do not want the spotlight turned and shined on me. Can you pull your car into the garage, or is it full of stuff? A new survey by Black & Decker found more than a third of Americans say their garage is so cluttered it blocks any vehicle from entering, and nearly 2 in 3 call their garage the junkiest space in their house. Now, similarly, a retirement plan can also become cluttered. What can you guys do to help out?
Well, we're going to give you specific action items on how to clutter out your financial plan. But I would say, when you look at your garage, it can be easy. And I actually get kind of a double whammy effect because not only do I have a garage at home, I have a garage here at our office that is also commonplace for storage. So and when I bought the building back in 2008, I think the previous owners, anything that was not being used just went to the garage, and it kind of just was completely filled, from the front to the back with unnecessary stuff. And we had to get a couple of trash bins to get things out of here and send a bunch of stuff back to the recyclables. But, the same would be true. I think at home, I called it the Salvation Army and scheduled a time to come pick up things at my house. And they were able to collect a lot of the things that I hadn't used. The rule that we had at the house is if you haven't used it in 2 years, it's time to get rid of it or donate it.
Sure.
And I guess I don't need that many 2x4s in my garage. I could probably get away with a little bit less, and it's not too often I'm getting 2x4s out or piping supplies, and so it's important to do that. But, we get clutter in our financial plan all the time. I remember somebody who recently came into the office, a husband and wife, and she had changed jobs over the course of her lifetime a couple different times and just never really did anything with her old 401k plan. So she had, one here and one there and one kind of everywhere, and also had a new plan where she was working today. And, the husband's concern was, I don't know if these are good or bad or where they are. It just feels like it's a big cluttered mess. And I would agree, when you have things all spread out all over the fact, it can be kind of chaotic, and chaos only creates stress. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to create a one-page financial inventory. When you come in and see us and we put together the Retirement Team Action Plan, we're going to create this one-page financial inventory. And it's nice to have it on one page because on one page you can see all the key information that you need to know about your financial plan. You're going to see things like your investment assets, a summary of your insurances, what your reliable income sources are, what your investment risk level is, and range of returns. That is nice to see it all kind of summarized together. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use software to determine where there could be some inefficiencies in your portfolio. There could be 2 different ways that we can figure out inefficiencies in your portfolio. Number one is through the investment allocation. When we look at investment allocation, what we're looking at is, the difference between large, medium, small, international stocks, bonds, large, medium, small, and what that asset allocation is. With the software, what we're able to do is we're able to put all of the holdings that you have, and whether it's, 1 account or 5 accounts, it'll then give us the analytical data that shows what your portfolio level is in terms of risk. And we measure risk anywhere from 0 to 100, with 0 being the lowest risk. So the first thing is you want to make sure that your risk lines up with who you are as an investor. And while the markets are at a record high, now's the good time to know, what your risk level is. The next thing is the software is going to give you a grade point average, a GPA score. And, here, just kind of finishing up the school season, a lot of people who have either college or high school kids are familiar with a GPA score. But your goal here is to get a 4.0. That'd be all A's. In fact, the software can go as high as 4.3. So 4.3 means all A's, and you're taking, some honors classes. In the portfolio analysis, we can look at each individual account, and then we can look at all the accounts combined together as a whole. This is going to allow us to determine if any portfolio is inefficient or if the portfolio put together as a whole is inefficient. So if you have a GPA score of, say, 3.7, That is not necessarily a bad GPA score. And oftentimes when I'm reviewing portfolios, I have people that come in here that in the first time of meeting together with us providing them a retirement team action plan, they have a good portfolio. So our plan is to take that clutter and go from good to great. Try to get that GPA score up as high as possible to 4.3. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to use the software to determine the probability of success of you being able to achieve the outcomes that you're looking for, specifically to meet your lifetime retirement income goals. The software, it'll measure the probability of success anywhere from 0 to 100, and it's going to look at, roughly 3,000 different scenarios of what could happen between now and the end of life. And that could be things like, well, what if the stock market crashes tomorrow? What if the stock market crashes right at retirement time? What if tax rates go up by 20%? What if your Social Security benefits go down by 20%? What if inflation stays high? And when we start to look at all of these scenarios, what it's going to show us is it's going to show us the number of times in the outcomes that it reached the end goal. So, not running out of money. And your goal is to get that number as high as possible. If we run the numbers and we run the analysis and it says, 75% of the time you hit the end zone, that's great. That's a good start, But it's not, as high as it could be. I believe that when we do this and we're looking at cleaning the clutter out of the plan, what we want to do is we want to try to get that score into the 90 plus percentile range. Oftentimes, if I see a plan that says 100% of the time it's going to work out, I don't know that 100% of anything's guaranteed in life. So what we want to try to do is get that number over to 90%. Now you've got something that you can watch and keep track of, and that'll be another way to help identify what that clutter is. The third thing that you want to do is as you go through this exercise, you want to take a pad of paper and you want to begin to write down the observations. The observations are going to be things that come out when you do the one-page financial inventory. They're going to be things that when you stress test your plan and or when you run the analysis and the inefficiencies, writing down those observations on potential threats and or opportunities will now give you a sheet that you can go down in a checklist items of where to accomplish that. So that's what I would do when you're looking at trying to clean the clutter out of your plan. Now, you can do that on your own. In fact, I know there's a lot of you listening that do financial planning and investment on your own. That's great. We work with a lot of people that like to do it on their own, and by no means do you have to, work with us when we put together a retirement team action plan. But by getting a second opinion or getting a second set of eyes to look at it, I bet there's a lot of clutter that we can identify in your plan and areas that we can take it up a notch. So how we can do this for those of you that want to get somebody that can kind of take a look at this, help you clean up that clutter and find out what it is, give our office a call. We'll put together that retirement team action plan. We'll create the one-page financial inventory. We'll do the portfolio optimization scorecard for you, and we'll provide you a written summary of our observations in that retirement team action plan. That's what we do, and that's what we do right here at America's Retirement Headquarters.
And that all starts with the phone call to America's Retirement Headquarters, 419-794-3030. Just as, when you're cleaning out your garage, you may have some necessarily unfounded emotional attachment to this or that, which has been sitting around, like Nolan said, you haven't touched for years or utilized for years, hanging on to it. Being able to have an objective approach when it comes to your retirement plan or your financial plan as it stands and finding ways to streamline it objectively. The team at America's Retirement Headquarters can help with that. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. You can also go to the website and schedule a time to speak with them as well, arhq.com.